He's going home. She isn't. Meghan Markle may stay 5,000 miles away in California, while Harry walks back into the country his family once pushed him out of. And this time, there's no public statement, no dramatic quote, just silence. In royal world, silence is never nothing. So what actually happened behind closed doors to keep a mother and her 2 children off that plane? And why is the real answer buried under a much darker detail nobody's talking about yet? Stay with me. This isn't the story you think it is. Here's what we know for certain. Prince Harry returns to the United Kingdom next week for a 5-day visit tied to the countdown for the 2027 Invictus Games. It's being framed as a working trip, public engagements, and hopefully private family time. Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet were originally expected to travel with him. That plan is now in serious doubt. The reported reason? Security. The Royal and VIP Executive Committee, RAVEC, decides who gets taxpayer-funded police protection in Britain, and reporting suggests it has not approved protection for Harry's family for this visit. Without it, bringing 2 young children into the country stops being a scheduling decision and becomes a genuine risk calculation. There are 2 details worth holding on to here, because we're coming back to both. First, Buckingham Palace says it hasn't confirmed whether the Sussexes even accepted King Charles's earlier offer of a stay at a royal residence, which would trigger automatic protection. Second, there's a specific location connected to this trip that nobody's fully explained yet, and it might tell us more about where this family's head is at than anything RAVEC has said. This visit also lands right after what would have been Princess Diana's birthday. For Lilibet, whose middle name honors her great-grandmother, the late Queen, this could have been a genuinely meaningful trip. Could have been. This didn't start last week. When Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties in 2020, his automatic protection was downgraded. He challenged it. He lost. At the Home Office, then again at the UK Court of Appeal last year. Since that loss, his case has reportedly been sitting with a risk management board meant to review it. As of this trip, that review still hasn't happened. Notice the pattern. Every time Harry has tried to resolve this through official channels, the system hasn't said a hard no. It's stalled, delayed, gone quiet. That's arguably a more effective way of shutting someone out than any headline could be, because it never looks like a decision, so no one can be blamed for it. Now, you might be thinking, isn't this just a convenient excuse? Isn't security concerns the easiest cover story in royal PR? Maybe. But look at what Harry himself has said about it, and then decide. In a 2025 interview, Harry said he was left devastated by the security ruling, and that he'd struggle to forgive the decision. That's not a palace insider whispering to a tabloid. That's Harry, on the record, saying the loss of protection didn't just anger him, it made reconciliation with his family harder. So picture Meghan's side of this. Her husband has spent years fighting, through official legal channels, just to get a straight answer on whether their children are safe visiting his own family's country. And the answer he keeps getting isn't no, it's still under review. Would you put your 5-year-old and 7-year-old on that flight, based on still under review? Most parents wouldn't. This isn't Meghan being difficult. Sources close to the family describe it as her making the only protective call available to her. But here's where it gets more complicated, because there's a second, deeper reason this family might be staying apart, and it has nothing to do with paperwork. Before we get into it, if stories like this, the ones that actually connect the dots instead of just repeating the headline, are what you come here for, hit subscribe now, because it helps more than you'd think. Remember that royal residence offer? Reports say King Charles offered the Sussex family a stay on a royal estate, which would have solved the security problem instantly, since royal residences come with automatic protection. But Buckingham Palace has said publicly that it doesn't even know if the Sussexes accepted. Sit with how strange that is. An offer that could fix the entire standoff, sitting unanswered, or answered so quietly that the palace itself isn't sure what happened. There are 2 ways to read this, and royal watchers are split. 1. Harry and Meghan may have deliberately left it vague, because staying on royal property comes with conditions: media access, protocol, a level of palace control they walked away from in 2020. Solving the security problem that way might mean reopening every old wound about who controls their lives on royal soil. 2, and this reading is sadder, maybe there was never a real conversation at all. Maybe the offer was floated through the press, more as a gesture than an actual plan, because neither side fully trusts the other to follow through on the details. Either reading leads to the same place. two members of the same family reportedly can't coordinate where to sleep for 5 nights without it becoming an international headline. That's not a logistics failure. That's what years of unresolved rupture looks like up close. And it's Meghan and the kids who end up paying for the ambiguity by staying home. Most people miss this next part completely, because it's not really about this trip at all. It's about a pattern that's repeated itself for years. Harry has made several solo UK trips since 2020. His grandmother's funeral in 2022, his father's coronation in 2023, a court case this past January. Meghan wasn't at his side for any of them. There's also this. By several accounts, the last confirmed conversation between Harry and his brother William was at the Queen's funeral in 2022. Nothing public since, despite reports that Harry has tried reaching out through intermediaries. So when people ask why Meghan would skip this trip too, the honest answer is simple. Every previous version of Harry goes back to Britain has ended the same way. Tension, distance, a media storm over every detail, no thaw with William. Why would this one be different? Without a resolved security question and without a repaired relationship with his brother. There is one genuinely hopeful thread here though, and it's worth naming clearly. Charles and Harry reportedly reunited last September for tea at Clarence House, their first face-to-face in 19 months, while the king was undergoing cancer treatment, and the two are said to have stayed in some contact since. But a quiet cup of tea is a very different thing from a 5-day public visit with cameras everywhere, and William still not speaking to him. Now here's the detail I promised you back at the start, the one that might explain this entire story better than any security document. This trip falls right after Diana's birthday, and reports suggest Harry and Meghan may consider staying at Althorpe House, Diana's own childhood estate, which is scheduled to close to public visitors on exactly the days he's expected to be there. If that happens, it's not just a security workaround. It's the family choosing Diana's actual home over anything tied to Buckingham Palace or Charles. Not necessarily a rejection, but a statement. We can come back to Britain and connect with what genuinely matters to us, without needing the palace's blessing or protection to make it meaningful. That single possible choice might explain the entire hesitation around this trip. Because if it becomes, stay under Charles's roof, under Charles's rules, it stops being a homecoming and turns into a negotiation. But if it becomes, quietly visit Diana's family home instead, it sidesteps the whole security and control problem, at the cost of visibly looking like Harry is leaning toward his mother's side of the family over his father's. That's an impossible position for anyone, and it might be exactly why Meghan is choosing not to be there for the cameras to capture it either way. So here's what this story is actually about, because it was never really a scheduling problem or a paperwork problem. Those are just the visible symptoms. The real story, 5 years after Harry and Meghan stepped back, the same machinery that pushed them out, the security bureaucracy, the unspoken rules about accepting the palace's hospitality, two brothers who still can't speak, is still running, still deciding, quietly, who gets protection and who's left in limbo, still forcing a mother to weigh her children's safety against her husband's need to reconnect with a family that hasn't fully decided if it wants him back. Meghan not getting on that plane isn't coldness. By most accounts, it's the most protective call available to her. And Harry going anyway, alone, might be the loneliest kind of loyalty there is, showing up for people who still haven't resolved whether they're ready to show up for him. The uncomfortable truth here isn't that someone snubbed someone, it's that nobody in this story is really the villain. Not Charles, who reportedly made a genuine offer, not Harry, who spent years fighting through the courts, not Meghan, who's protecting her kids exactly as any parent would. And still, none of it adds up to this family standing in the same room. That's the real headline this week. Not Meghan skips trip. It's this. A family that says it wants to heal still can't find a way to actually do it. So here's the question I keep sitting with. Was this really about security? Or is security just the easiest word for something nobody wants to say out loud? Do you think Meghan made the right call staying home? Or does this just keep the rift open longer than it needs to be? Tell me below. I read every comment. If you want the version of these stories the headlines skip, the timeline, the context, the parts nobody's connecting, subscribe. That's what this channel does, every upload. And one more thing before you go. Security concerns sounds routine, almost bureaucratic. It isn't. There's a specific, much more serious reason Ravek won't budge on this. And it's not really about Harry and Charles at all. That's next.